Everybody loves Swircast. We knew this was going to happen.
We even pushed this back and we're still dealing with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Swircast episode.
All right, listen, I'm not dealing with this. Okay, this is going to be, for
be
those watching, this is going to be just for the first bit. The whole chair's falling apart here.
Listen, here at Swircast, we make it happen, okay?
Against all odds.
That chair's
some
broken?
say.
Yeah, some would say
Alrighty.
that.
Alrighty.
Alright, perfect. It's just until the sun goes down.
It's just until the sun.
It's in his eyes. The house is blocking my sight.
I don't want to lose my sight, you know? I kind of need it.
Welcome to episode 4 of Swircast, your weekly podcast.
Your weekly...
Your favorite. It's your favorite. We're your favorite.
Installments.
You love us. We
I
love
think,
you.
Per usual. Let's crack the sody pap.
Yep.
Dude, this peaked so hard.
Yeah, I did my own Foley, but with my mouth. Cheers.
Sure.
All right. Well, we pushed our episode back because it was really hot today.
Yeah, we didn't push it back. We shifted it. It was only but a few hours.
We made it work for our schedule, and our schedule worked for it. I feel there's a better way to put it.
Yes.
Anyway, we're here.
We can. I think for our usual housekeeping here on the podcast, you know, we like to say that we stream daily. This is so weird with me.
Dude, you're like facing the other way.
We're going with it though, dude.
We're going with it. For those of you who are watching on video, you know. If you know, you know.
You know, we're streaming Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 p.m. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yes.
Pacific Standard.
And
Twitch.tv/Swir Media. Check us out. You know, it's pretty cool.
Fantastic. So, into your news topics. This is your news. This is the news. You like news?
Hey, extra. Read all about it.
Yeah, okay, who's going to do the first one? I'll do it.
Yeah.
All right, Super Punchout. We all know about Super Punchout, okay? This is a classic NES game with, well, this is a Super Punchout. This is one, I don't think it was Mike Tyson's. Or is this Mike Tyson's?
I think that's the same one, right?
Mike Tyson Super Punch-Out? There wasn't one without Mike Tyson?
I thought it was all Punch-Out, you know?
Anyway, Super Punch-Out. It's been out for quite a while. They just found a hidden 2-player mode that was found, like, in the game. It's been in there the whole time. You could play it in your emulators. You could play it in your Nintendo Switch Online.
And how do you access this here,
You mean this Easter egg?
This Easter egg.
On the fight select, you hit the on the title screen. You go to let's see. It says Y plus R on controller 2. Y plus R, so the Y and then the R. This is confusing. Man. Well, anyway.
I just don't understand.
I don't play Super Punch-Out. I'm sorry. You know how the fans are. They're still like trying to figure out if there's new stuff in it. But yeah. I mean, that's your news. I mean, if you want to go and check out some Super Punch-Out NES. And play with your friend.
Like, how does that even work, dude?
Dude, honestly,
I think it's got to be really jank. Dude.
You know what's funny is this was the first news article we put here, and I was really hype on it when I put it there. I was like, "Dang!"
And now we see all the other. Dude, there's one in particular.
And now that we're recording, I'm like, it's not that interesting.
We've got much better stuff coming up on these.
Dude, but this next one, whew.
Well. Dude, for me first, I'm just like, does anyone have any footage of that like multiplayer mode yet?
I don't know.
Because I'm like,
dude, like it's not even confirmed.
How does it work? Because they're like, that game's like a single player like.
That's a good point.
It's like the way it works, it's kind of like pretty. I don't know. It's pretty definitively built like one player. If it's the one I'm thinking, if this is like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, like I'm thinking. Is it Mike Tyson's Punch-Out?
I think it's the Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Honestly, I mean, go play it.
It's got to be pretty jank, though. I gotta say, it's got to be.
That's why it was hidden. But they left it there, though.
Dude, that's cool. That's cool. But I'm like, I bet you anything it was like a multiplayer mode they were probably like planning, but then they thought about it and they're like, man, the way we're building the game, this isn't gonna work.
We should really hide this.
Like, just make it hidden.
If you try to remove the code for that, I mean, it's not going to work.
The whole game could implode.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all tied to the same like integer, you know.
In another universe, they
same.
do that, and that's like what caused the Big Bang. It's like the restarting of the universe.
Yeah.
It's like that episode of Family Guy where you find out like Stewie's birth was like what caused the Big Bang or something, or like his death. Yeah, it's so funny, dude. All right, whatever.
All right. Well, anyway, you get this next one.
Anyway, next one, Last of Us. I don't know if you knew about that game, and it's kind of a big deal. But yeah, they're making a show. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty interesting. And you know, there's some things going on here. Okay.
I just saw your name pop up on the sheet. It's so funny, dude.
I saw that earlier too.
Your little name popped up, dude.
Hold on, guys. So this is embarrassing, guys. This is my first time using our our handy dandy hyperlinks.
Our Google Sheets.
A Google. Hold on a second here, guys.
Yeah, my internet, you know, it's just, it's interesting, you know?
Because the fucking title we have here, it's like, Last of Us casts Henry and Sam, but there's some major differences.
And you're like, wait, I
and
didn't
I'm
read
reading
that
through
part.
this like right now, and I'm like, what the fuck are the differences? Like, they don't say it here.
They're like, it's Sam and it's Henry, but it's not a video game anymore, it's a show. And you're like,
Hold on.
I think I already knew that.
Wait. Okay, it says that they're like a marriage now, a married couple.
What?
Hold on a second.
Isn't Henry and Sam like that's like
That's
that guy and his
wait,
brother?
hold on. I've got to be reading. I got to be reading
You
this
gotta
out
be
of
reading this
context
wrong,
here.
dude.
Hold on. It's been revealed the plot. Yes. Yeah, they're like a married couple surviving alone in the wilderness of the. Oh no, these are new characters. Marlon and Florence. Wait, so did they get rid of Sam?
Okay, this is the last episode that we can do this.
Yeah, this is.
Okay, episode 4 was the last one that they freaking read the article on the cast, dude. Not to us, in order to, like, you know, in reference.
Listen,
they're reading it for themselves.
This is a bad. I know, dude. Today we're here learning with you guys.
Listen, we want to sound real knowledgeable right now.
coming
We got
to you with the
news
news.
hyperlinks.
We're coming to you with the news, and we're gonna read it together.
Yeah,
We're
we're gonna go through
We're
this
gonna
together.
get first impressions.
Okay, so first thing you want to do is you're gonna want to click.
But
on
yeah,
this
they're making a show. It's crazy. You know, you guys should once it comes out, check it out. You know, it's pretty cool. They've been.
All right,
Dude, that was such a sham of a freaking like.
dude. Like after Super Punchout, dude, we're really putting the asses in the seats right now, dude. All right, Cobra Kai season 5 release date was revealed along with a new image. Now, I'd love to show you the image, but I mean, I can't. You're listening, and if you're watching, I'm not doing it. But September 9th of this year, that's when season 5 is going to come out. So excited to see who wins.
Where did it leave off from the last one?
Yeah, some tournament.
Don't they all?
No, they don't all, but this one did.
Nice.
Yeah, this one did.
Nice.
Yeah,
The one
setting
where-
up
no,
for
didn't it end with,
the All Valley. It was the All Valley.
Didn't it end with Johnny Silver Steel or whatever? Or is Steel? What was his name?
You got Miggle that went to like Ecuador.
Miguel. I heard he's actually coming back
From
in this-
Ecuador?
in the new season.
I just like that he was Ecuadorian. I was like, representation.
dude,
good.
oh yeah, dude, our people are
Ecuadorians don't
great.
get a lot of representation.
No.
People are like, Ecuador? What is that?
Dude, we watched the show again.
What's in Ecuador?
We watched the show again, and he's like Cuban or something. And we're
They
like,
change it, and you're like,
yes,
did they
yeah.
retcon his heritage?
Did they retcon his Ecuadorianism?
His
From the
Ecuadorian.
equator?
You should check that, son. You might be.
Oh, is this another white blood?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I noticed.
All right.
I noticed the difference. I figured I'd point it out. You
You
know,
know what? Maybe I'll know all my
it's for the sake of our audience. You know?
Oh, I'm
Did you
spilling
break it again?
here.
Are you spilling?
No, I'm spilling here. Can you hold this here, bud?
Very interesting podcast.
This is this is becoming a very interesting one.
Yeah. It's like early dignation, dude.
This is
Hey,
so
Prager, can you hand me the thing over there?
This is so jank, dude.
It's okay. It's a good thing we got this handy dandy garage to film out of.
Man, this feels great.
Honestly, we're living the life. Alrighty. We got all this industry around us. All this new construction.
You can hear it.
You can hear it. Listen.
You can hear the hammers, the blood.
Do you hear that?
Keys.
That's a 2x4.
It stopped.
He stopped at. That's weird, dude. Anyway. Sheesh. Did you want to tell us when the loot boxes are going to end for Overwatch 2?
I'm a little nervous.
Why?
Because I don't remember this one either. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, like I don't remember what this is about.
So the loot boxes, they're doing this whole like Redux archive for all the skins. They kind of got me though because they have like a red Sentai Genji skin. It's like the Red Ranger, dude. And I want it. But I'm not going to go get it because I don't know, I'm just kind of over Overwatch. I'm Overwatch. But they're doing all this, and they're kind of doing this to like, you know, update people up to like all the skins that maybe they missed and stuff like that. But you know, new, fun, different version. It's also incentivizing people who've already gotten those skins too. Obviously.
So they're just not doing loot boxes.
Well, the thing is they're doing these archive things for that, and then they're doing those leading into Overwatch 2. And when Overwatch 2 releases, they're going to remove all loot boxes. And they're doing that because I think they want to turn it basically into like a typical like store kind of system, which I think is great. Honestly,
I think that's
I think it needed to be like that. But they're changing it to that because they want people to be able to like actually have more autonomy over like the skins that they buy. And so I think that's great. Honestly, we'll probably check out Overwatch 2 when it comes out. Honestly,
I'm going to.
I just you know, I kind of got over the first one and stuff, but this one, from what I saw, like it looks a lot tighter with like the like, you know, the gunplay and all of that, and so, you know, yeah, it looks cool. I like the New York map. I just like the aesthetic. I don't know, it's cool.
Overwatch has got like a place in my heart. So
yeah,
I'll check it out.
Overwatch is tight,
Yeah.
but yeah, loot boxes are ending. A lot of that's just due to, you know, all the controversy.
You heard that?
all the controversies and stuff with just loot boxes and it being gambling, essentially.
Is that a balloon up there?
I don't know.
You see that? Wow.
No.
Weird.
Oh.
It almost looked like it was going to hit the... Or, I mean,
By
I guess
golly?
The plane was going to hit it.
I think it might be.
I think that's one of them balloons.
As far as I'm concerned, that's an UFO right there.
Yeah, that is.
So we can
I
get
don't know
eyes
what
on
that
that?
is.
I don't know what that is.
It looks like it's flying.
It's an object.
I don't know what it is.
It's objectively flying.
It's objectively
It's an
something
object.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
UFO.
we saw UFO.
Guys,
you heard it here first, folks. So
we
like,
saw
episode
an
4.
UFO.
Dude, that's the title of the episode. We saw
Dude,
a UFO.
That's the clickbaitiest.
Dude,
title,
that's what we're
dude.
doing. It's perfect. Because it's true. We're not lying.
Listen, everybody's doing it.
I get it now.
It's part of it.
I get it now.
But yeah, loot boxes, they're gone. So have fun.
You know what else is fun?
This is the real crumb of the crops on these topics.
Is this next topic?
I've been waiting for this one.
I'd like you to share this one because you added it, and when I saw it when I was adding my topics, I
So,
guffawed pretty hard.
There's this little show. It's a BBC show. Okay. And it's called The Office. Okay, it stars Ricky Gervais. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's not a big deal, but it is very influential. Okay, and it even got a U.S. version made. Okay. Now this U.S. version, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it actually is a big deal.
Is that show The Orifice?
Yeah. It's a pretty great show.
With Pim and Jam?
But in this show, you may remember Kevin's chili. Okay. Well, I'll tell you right now. If you've ever been fascinated or interested in what that chili was like, a world famous family recipe for Kevin's chili, you can now buy his cookbook. Because Kevin from The Office is finally getting his own cookbook for his chili.
Wow.
So yeah.
It's really milking that whole Kevin for all it's worth, huh?
Yeah.
And all these Office people do.
I want to try it, honestly.
I mean, I did too, but it's just
For me, I'm like,
interesting.
maybe the chili's good.
They're like, hey, I don't want you to forget. I was in that show The Office, you know that? That ended a while ago, but...
It's so smart of them, though, because, like, literally every single person who's left The Office is, like...
They've leveraged it really well.
Yeah, like Pam and what's her face? Angela, like, they have like their whole podcast, like doing the like history of it or whatever.
I was up on that one for a little while.
Yeah, or like it was like what is it called? Like the Women of the Office or something like that.
Oh my gosh, what was it called?
Wasn't it that? It was something like
Let
that.
me look it up because I want to get proper credit.
There's that, and then there's also like Kevin's
up.
Oh wow.
It's a lap, dude. Office.
Is that Pan Am?
Is that Pan Am?
No, they have their podcast, and there's also like Kevin, his like his actual like episode by episode like history of the freaking show.
That podcast, that's like a mini series of
that one's really good.
That one is fantastic. Highly recommended for Office fans.
The whole the
story of The Office is amazing.
If you're a fan of The Office, like seeing what went into making that show is really fascinating because they put a lot more work than I think anybody really realizes with that show. There's just a lot of like very calculated decisions they made. Yeah. And I don't know. It's very interesting though. Very informative, and it's pretty cool.
It's important. It's cool that they know that how important that show was to a lot of people.
I think it had a really good finale too.
It did. It's as a body of work, I can always go to it and enjoy it.
It wasn't like Chuck. Dude, that show was
You
so
should be careful about that.
That
you know
show, Chuck fans
the
can
Chuck
be.
fans can
yeah,
be.
I know.
A little
I
Chucky.
Know. No, Chuck is like...
Chucky fans are different.
Chuck has like, let's be honest, so Chuck has like one of the worst finales I've ever seen, dude.
Chuck is like, it's like eating that ice cream you shouldn't eat. Like, you enjoy it, but you know it's not good.
I mean, you get to the end of it, you just feel nasty.
Like, dude, the whole story makes no sense, dude. Like, it's cool, but then it hit... But,
well, I don't really care about that.
Well, no, I know,
but
that's what I'm getting at, though. It's like, it's there's nothing, like, substantial there. It's just great, like... funny moments and all that.
Yeah.
But that moment where he freaking like becomes the secret agent.
Dude, I thought that was fine too.
That was so
the thing
like
that just pissed me off more than anything is I'm like, you build this whole show around like their relationship,
yeah.
and then you have her fucking forget about him.
Why would you do that?
Why are you what was the movie 50 First Dates? Why are you 50 First dating freaking Chuck, dude?
Well, that was a little different.
It was different, okay? But
he had a VHS tape he would make every day. That's love.
How do you trust that, dude? Like once you're out on the ocean,
dude,
like at the end when they show it,
because of the implication.
Exactly.
You're like, what? And then they hand.
What do you mean?
You wake up to a VHS that says "Play Me," and you like put it in the VHS. You're like weird, and you put that in, and you start watching it, and it's you, but from the future, and you're like marrying some weird looking dude. Oh wow, you can't remember me. I make you VHS tape. Do you remember? And then you realize you have a kid, but then he hands you the kid, and you get up and you're in Alaska and you're on a boat, and Adam Sandler's there, and you're like, why am I married to Adam Sandler?
There's certain movies that I've seen that people will like recommend. They're like, it's so good, you have to see it, and it just irritated me. Like that was one of them. Anger Management irritated me, and then freaking Atonement.
Oh, I know. I can't speak to that one.
Dude, that movie irritated me, dude.
Is that a Keira Knightley?
Here, let me spoil it for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that a Keira Knightley?
Yeah,
I feel like she's in that.
It has really good writing. It has really good acting and stuff. But I just personally like. I get why people like it and stuff. But I'm like, I just did not feel like it was worth it because it's Atonement. It's kind of in the name.
Yeah, it's just.
But I didn't think that things were very atoned for.
Yeah, so I don't like you.
I don't know. Maybe I got to rewatch the movie though. So
that atone. So I'll take this next one. Or do you want to take that one, and I'll take the Beyond Good and Evil too?
I mean, I can take this next one because I did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Did you though?
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Here, let's both take it at the same time and see if we say the same words. Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Ready. Let's
All
go.
right.
Okay. Gotham Knights building a brand
so the
new
thing about
Gotham
this one
City
is
with
that,
400 years
really
of history, and it's
let's not do
that
this.
didn't work. Yeah.
Let's not do this.
You take it.
All right, fine.
I don't want it anymore.
Since you insisted.
It's just that I don't want it anymore.
All right, so Gotham Knights, it's basically the next Arkham game, you know, because Rocksteady, the developers of like the original like trilogy and all that, they stepped away. They're doing their whole Justice League game, which I'm really stoked for. It looks tight. Everything they've shown looks pretty cool.
Doesn't that look like it's going a little faster than normal?
He must be breaking some aerial speed limits.
Looks like he's going like 5 or 10 knots above speed limit.
Aren't knots for like boats?
I've heard it both ways.
Gotham Knights They handed off basically Rocksteady as they were working on their Justice League game, it's not Justice, it's the Suicide Squad game. Oh boy, I'm misspeaking. No, the Suicide Squad game that they're making, it's because it's Kill the Justice League. They're stepping away from Batman and all that. Obviously, Warner Brothers, I don't think they're going to let that, like, we got to get some Batman going. So they handed it off to Montreal, Warner Brothers Montreal, which is basically their game dev studio that worked on, I believe it was Arkham Origins, which was actually really good. You know, it's not, it feels different, you know, like even the combat, like it's the same, but it feels different. But it doesn't feel bad, you know, and there's a lot of really cool, like little like set piece kind of moments in the game. And like the whole story in that game overall is like, it's very much so like a Batman story. And it's just, I don't know, I liked it a lot. I thought it was really tight. It's definitely not like Rocksteady's games. Like Rocksteady just has a very particular like weight to like everything. And that's definitely not really there, but like the game's still great. Like it's still worth playing. But that studio, they're working on Gotham Knights and all that. And basically, you know, as more stuff's been coming out, we found out that basically, you know, they showed like the whole map, you know, which a lot of people seem, from what I was seeing, a lot of people seem pretty underwhelmed by it from what they showed.
It looked big.
Well, because they showed like a photo of the actual map, which I'm assuming is like what you see in your like
in your menu.
In your menu, like
yeah, that was in the video.
Yeah, they had that, and a lot of people like. At least from like what I saw on Twitter, a lot of people responding to all the tweets and stuff, like all the photos of that. They were like, "This looks tiny. I don't like this. Why is everything called like Gotham this, Gotham that?" Like they couldn't have come up with cooler names. Like I was hearing a bunch of stuff like that. I was reading a bunch of stuff like that.
Like, take it easy, kids.
For me, I'm like, dude, like this is like we have like no info. Like
yeah,
you're basing it off of that photo. Did you watch the video?
Yeah.
Because from what they showed in the video, like I can't remember where I heard it said, but. Someone said basically that like from what I've seen of like the world and all that, it's pretty clear they're trying to make it like a city and not just like this little like, you know, not like most other games when they're just doing God, dude, that really derailed me because I'm like, fuck, I'm about to go on like a whole thing. And like the segment's coming up. You know what? We'll come back, okay, after this break, okay, and I'll finish off my point. Because it's pretty quick.
Do you just finish the point right now?
Well, basically the point being, okay, because I'm like explaining a lot. So, WB Montreal's working on their new game, Gotham Knights. It's the new like Batman game in this world. Basically, they're going over the whole Court of Owls story. Okay, where you know right now Batman's dead in the world and all that and. I'm assuming that like Batman's not dead, and I'm assuming that this is basically during that period of time where like he was stuck in like the maze thing, and like all of the trials that they put him through. Because I haven't read the comic for a while, but I think I remember he even sends out like a little thing to like the whole Bat family where he's like take over Gotham like. So I'm like I think this is legitimately them just doing that. I think Batman's probably still alive and all that.
I think so too. Yeah.
You can't kill off Batman. You know, you just can't. Even Arkham Knight, they tried to kill him off,
but
then they brought him back in the real ending.
You could try to do what you can.
But needless to say, they've been building Gotham like their own Gotham. They're not really following any of the mappings that were like put in place by like Rocksteady. So they're really creating their own thing, and like the world has a lot of. It just feels very. There's a lot of depth in the verticality and all that, and the way that the buildings are structured and all that, from what I saw. And more importantly, the way that they built the whole thing was they really thought about the whole history of Gotham, because the Court of Owls is very like ancient in the lore and all that. They're that thing that's been there since like before Batman. And they've been like watching him like as he's been like claiming it as his own city. Like
these ancient
and they're like let
elite groups.
Yeah, they're like let you think it's your city. Like this is not your city. This is the Court of Owls city. You know, like they're in that. And so they basically the way they built the whole map was they're like, you know, the way real cities were built was like, you know, like for instance like Chicago when there was like the Chicago fire. They're like they didn't like demolish everything and then redo that. They're like they just built on top of that. Mm-hmm. They're like, and so that's something that typically happens for a lot of cities, like in real life even. They're like, and so we went about it that way where we thought about like, you know, how would Gotham have reacted through like, you know, like Prohibition and like all of these different phases. And then they just kind of built the Gotham like conceptually over that. So they knew how they're going to do the whole set, like sewer system. and how they knew they were going to build like new buildings up here. And they're like, okay, like if the Arkhams owned like this like asylum over here or whatever, and that was there since this time, then all of this other stuff would have been built around there. So they will like place that building there and then build things around that.
Like
and
these
like
landmarks.
Yeah,
and all
and
that.
there's a lot of stuff like that where like
building up and building down.
yeah,
Like that was cool. When you were talking about that.
Yeah, so for me, I'm like, just from what I'm hearing, like just from the map and stuff, like because we saw like the gameplay and the gameplay didn't look like that great.
Yeah.
It looked a little like, it didn't look very like punchy. It didn't look like it had much punch. But like for me, I'm like, maybe this is like the combat's all right, but there's just like a lot of really cool shit in this game. That's what I'm kind of getting. That's what I'm kind of getting the vibe from.
Yeah, I have a feeling based off of what I've heard of Origins and what I'm seeing with this one, that their core competencies aren't necessarily fighting. It's more storytelling and world building. And so I think that that's where it's going to shine, but I don't want to go ahead of it. I want to see how
we'll
it
have
plays
to
out,
we'll have to see. We'll see how reviews come out when they come out and stuff. But I really like how they're going about that, even just
Me
like
too.
with the world building so far. And so,
And you know what? The team seemed impassioned. They seem that they're being intentional. So let's see how that pans out.
Yeah.
But all right, well, we got one more topic for you, but we're going to take a little break first. We'll come back, we'll hit that topic, and then we'll get right into the segs. You know, the segments. Listen to this track.
and we're back.
And so are you. Hi.
Welcome.
It's been a while.
Alrighty.
All right, so we got another topic. I'll just jump into this one real quick. Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's one of the games we talk about pretty regularly here, you know, on Swircast, you know, if you've been following us for a little while. But apparently news around town is, dude, that it still needs a few more years, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Sources said that apparently the game still feels, quote, years away and, quote, lacks direction. Whilst another source has said they had, quote, no idea what I was doing when playing. So, all in all, it sounds like, last week's news about them being in pre-production and, you know, Leroy's
hiring writers.
Yeah, it seems like, that was true.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's your Beyond Good and Evil 2 update. And now another topic. So, I've heard about this little game called 2 Point Hospital. It's been popping up in lists and games passes and all that. And tell me, why is it 2 points?
I feel like
Tell me, why is it 2 points?
I don't know.
What kind of campus this is? So you've been playing this, right?
I have been playing this.
Tell me about it.
So they did like a 2 Point Hospital, which I assume is like the same thing, but you know, it's a hospital. It's basically like those like city builder kind of deals. It's not, but it's not even really just that. It's kind of like Clash of Clans meets a city builder. Like weirdly, it's one of those kinds of games where you're like building shit and you're doing this and that, but there's like you're not like waiting for stuff to finish. You're waiting for like time to pass for like the classes and stuff. It's honestly, as I'm talking about, I'm like, it is pretty different.
Yeah. So so campus. You're on a campus.
You basically
like a college campus. I'm guessing.
You're basically like the dude all the way at the top that's
managing
like,
the campus,
managing everything. The courses coming in. You're hiring people in. For
it's more like it's a sim, so it's like a roller coaster tycoon.
Yeah,
like
but it's
Sim City.
It's
like,
also
you're not
like
too far off.
It's also like really cartoonish, or like cartoony. Like it reminded me of Wallace and Gromit. I was telling you about that. Like the character designs, it's not exact, but there's a level of like that kind of, you know, design to the characters where they're just like, I don't know, it's Wallace and Gromit. Like I don't know how else to describe it. Like, you know, it has a lot of the same kind of like shapes and proportions for all the characters and stuff, which is really cool because it's like charming, you know. But yeah, I was playing it and like, I don't know, it's just. I haven't heard, like, that's the funny part. I haven't heard a lot of people talking about it recently, which is kind of sad, for me at least. But the game is really fun. You know, the whole opening and all that was, like, pretty, like, developed and stuff. But it also wasn't, like, some of these games where they kind of just throw you into the deep end and all that. And you know, that was really nice, especially because like there's a lot of depth to the game actually, because there's all these different mechanics for like essentially like if people are getting thirsty or if they're getting hungry, and then you need to make sure there's like little vending machines or whatever throughout the campus where people can like get snacks, because that'll fuck with their like motivation, which will fuck with which will fuck with like how much they're studying, which will fuck with
that. That sounds fun.
the grades they're getting. And so basically like you're essentially, again, like you're essentially trying to make sure you have a higher like cash flow. It's like typical shit like the school would probably be doing, you know. It's like truncated and stuff for a game, so it's fun and all that, but it's the same kind of deal where it's like you got to make sure you like the cash flow's good. You need to make sure you're hiring like the right amount of like, you know, teachers that are doing the right thing. You need to make sure they have like break rooms where like the teachers can go chill out and there's things to do in there. And so you end up like customizing the whole campus and like all the rooms, because you're like, man, I need to like all my students are unsatisfied. They think there's not enough like dormitories, and so you make more dorms and you like put like little desks in there for them to like mess around with. And like the thing I noticed, which was really tight too, is like, and this is like a little detail, but like desks and stuff, if you place it down, as people come in and use them and stuff, there'll be like different things on different desks. Where there's like a little there's like a little leftover food and like a book open on one of them. And
do you have to like click on it to clean it up?
No, it's just there. Like as the students come in, they just use stuff, and then they like, and this and that. And
so there's
like,
a lot of detail.
There's
to, like,
a lot of little.
happenings.
Oh yeah, dude. Like as classes are going on, you literally can zoom in and like basically like put yourself like kind of in the room.
What?
Yeah, and you'll see them like doing all this stuff. Where it's like whoa, 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 and he's like giving the class, and he's like pointing on like a
that's
whiteboard.
So cool.
And like sometimes there's days where they gotta do presentations and stuff, and they'll go to like the presentation room, like the theater room, and you see the teacher like there, and whoa, 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 and you see like little graphs and shit going on in the class, like, and like there's just like a lot of like charming little detail and stuff like that, and it really, like, I think the game that it reminds me of like most directly in terms of just it's different in how he plays and stuff, but what it evokes in me and stuff is like, it reminds me a lot of like oh my god, what was it? A game dev story?
Oh, game dev story. Oh, dude.
It reminds me a lot of that.
Okay, so
I forgot to tell you about that.
So that's
like what it evoked in me. It's completely different.
So for those of you who don't know, because we're talking about our Sims.
The game dev story is so fucking.
We're talking about simulation games, because these are like these sim games where you're going like, okay, you're a simulated, you know, campus owner, and you're managing this college campus,
yeah,
and all the details therein, and the feedback loop is from seeing all these cool little animations and seeing your growth and all of that. Well, it's like game dev story is, for those of you who don't know, we've played and beaten it, I don't know how many times at this point, but like it's this little mobile game by Kairosoft, and they make a lot of other sims. They've got like one for Grand Prix, got like sushi, like restaurants, like nails. So like
I actually didn't even know
they have like a ton. They have a ton of them, dude.
Have you played any of the other ones?
Pretty much all of them are awesome. Like all of them, but game dev story,
it's so good, dude.
Stands above the rest, because that game is it hits this sweet spot of simplicity where you're like, man, like you start your little studio, and then you freaking hire a couple people. You start learning that process. You start learning how to properly like manage your cash flow, how to like plan the design of a game, and then actually have them work on it. And the feedback loops are so satisfying, dude.
And there's like different phases for like the development of the game. Like after it's released, you have to like debug it and stuff.
You have to like get rid of all the bugs, make sure it launches. You could launch it early if you want, but then it'll have bugs, and then the reviews will come out.
It won't sell well.
You can develop your own consoles, all this stuff. So like I hear that, and then 2 Point Campus, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and again, it's
fun.
It's very different. Like I don't want to say like it's game because it's not the same at all. It's very different, but I'm just saying, like, what it evoked in me in terms of, like, being a sim, like, it was the same kind of joy where I'm just like, man, like, this is dope. Like, I'm like, now I got, like, a VR, like, because, like, one of the classes I did was, like, a VR class. And so, like, there's, like, a little thing I put on the wall where, like, a little portal opens and, like, a VR goggle comes out, and they grab it and they put it on, they're like, woo, and they're, like, doing stuff. And if you look at them, it'll show, like, a little, like, hologram next to them of, like, what they're doing in VR. And you could see them like jumping over boxes and stuff, and like it's really dope.
That sounds really charming.
It
sounds like a good time to like you could put a podcast on.
But this is the thing, dude.
Maybe listen to a little Swircast.
I really want to go back to it now, dude. So
you're making me want to download it now.
So the thing is, we should just play that later, dude. We'll freaking like call and play that.
Yeah.
No, but the thing is with that, dude, is like you start on one campus, and within that campus there's different like plots that you can buy like more land from to build more buildings for that campus, but there's also like different campuses and stuff. And I've only done like one of them. And I haven't even finished it. I've like, because that's not really how it works. Like you just kind of like keep building all of them. Because then you're like managing all these different campuses and stuff. But like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was a blast. Like the bit I played for like, I think in total I played probably like a solid like 10 hours or so. Like, it's not that much, not like that deep, but like I've played enough to kind of like understand what it's at. Like I've already gotten past the point where like, you know, it's pretty clear you're like in the game now.
Yeah.
And like, it's just fun, dude. Like you end up, because that's the thing too, there's so many different little aspects to it where it's like, even per room, there's certain particular things you can put in certain rooms. And so it becomes a deal of like, it becomes a deal of like, basically, you know, you're trying to like get certain tasks done. Because that's the thing too, like students will put in like requests where they'll be like, hey, like, you know, it'd be nice if like, you know, we had like some like coffee stand here or whatever. And like you can either reject it or you can like buy a coffee stand for your students. And so, like, I haven't seen how that plays out in the long term, but, like, I don't think it really has, like, that much to. Like, I think it's just, like, you kind of just do them or don't. And, like, build out the campus how you want. But, like, you end up getting, like, these coins that you can use to buy other stuff to, like, put into the rooms. And so, like, I bought, like, a TV so I can put into all the, like, dormitories. Or not the dorms, like, the like, break rooms and stuff. And now my people relax better. And so they teach better. And it's a whole.
It's like
whole
life.
cycle, dude.
It's like life.
Yeah, the gameplay loop is like it's really fun.
Sounds good. A 2-point campus. It sounds like Typo gives it a 10 out of 10.
No, I give it like an 8. Yeah,
how much have we played? Like how
10,
many hours?
Like 10 hours.
Like 10 hours.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that part. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 2 things we can do. Okay, I'm thinking either we talk about this last segment and fit it in within this next, was that like 14, 15 minutes? Or we take a break right now and then come back to it, like on the next segment. I say we just talk about it now.
I think just talk about it.
Yeah, I don't have like a ton to say, but the stuff we have to say, we already know where we stand, so.
Yeah.
So I'm a jump, I'll open this one up, and then we'll break this down. Stranger Things.
Season 4.
Very
polarizing amongst all the audiences.
This is part 1 and part 2.
It's like it was like very well received.
It was very well received, yes. So we finally saw it. We got to that. Finished that old ST, you know, as it were, season 4. And I'm glad I finished it. And it's more Stranger Things. So for those of you who want more Stranger Things, it's more Stranger Things. And that's honestly a great thing. But I couldn't help but feel a strong sense of disappointment with a lot of the beats. And this is highly subjective, I'm realizing, but you're listening to Swordcast. I didn't like how, I think the easiest way to put it, and we could break it down, but like I don't like how long it was. These episodes were so long. There were scenes that felt extraneous. It felt like it was not adding much to the story, but it was like a ramen episode of a Naruto, you know, like kind of like situation where it's like, this doesn't push the plot forward. Like this is just
like filler.
Yeah, and there was a
lot of filler scenes,
a lot of flashbacks, a lot of. Okay, so like this person went through an arc for 3 episodes, and all we learned was like basically what we already knew. But now that character knows that, so
yeah, it felt like padding, like just padding the time out.
Yeah, it felt like, and we hope that this is received properly, but it just felt like there was a seemingly lack of direction with this one. Seems like and there it is confirmed that there are certain things that they decided to do with characters, like even as early as like season 1, like with, and this is spoiler warning, I'm just throwing it out there, okay? But like Hopper doesn't die in season 1, but he was supposed to. So stuff like that, where it's like,
yeah, and they've done that with Max. Like Max was supposed to die. I think it's season 2 is when she showed up. Like she was supposed to die in that season, didn't die. I think the best way I can put it for myself is it's like watching the show. There's certain things they get right. You know, like
Yeah.
I think there's, and it's like probably like a good like 10 to 15% of it they get right. At least in this season, I can speak to. Like they get about like 10 to 15% of it right, and that percentage that they get right, they get so freaking right, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps me coming back. Like it's those like those scenes where it's like they're talking about like Vecna and like how he came to be, and then they're talking about like, or they're showing rather like the whole like spoiler. You know, this is spoiler. This is
As far as I'm concerned,
this is
you already got your spoiler warning. As
yeah,
far
this
as
is a
I'm
legitimate
concerned. So
spoiler warning.
This is us being real
Like,
nice.
Yeah, like honestly, like moving forward, like,
Like,
I'm kind of going like.
we're just gonna
with
talk
this.
about it right
yeah,
now.
like I'm
Yeah.
assuming everybody's watched it at this point, but like
Yeah.
the like when they showed the whole mind flare or whatever, like that gigantic one, like when Vecna was in the like the upside down and stuff.
so
Like,
cool.
there's a lot of scenes like that like I was like, man, that brought me back. Or like honestly, like the animations for all of the deaths, I thought were like. I thought it was pushing it. I thought they did it really nicely. I think it was really dope, honestly. For the show, it made sense. Like the show has been getting darker and darker as it's going, and this was
Right.
like, it seemed like a good next step where it's like, okay, the show's gonna get a lot darker. Like now we're showing deaths like this,
Yeah.
and like I thought they played that pretty well. But the thing is that other rest of the percentage is like a lot of just like, I don't know, it's just a lot of shit that I don't care about.
Namely,
And
that
it's a
whole
lot
Russian
of, and it's a lot of,
plotline, dude.
and it's a lot of stuff that like I wouldn't care about if it didn't take up so much of the percentage, which it ends up doing because they like pad everything. But like to stay on track with like what I'm getting at, like all of that's fine. At the end of the day, it's a really good show. It was a really good
Yes.
season. Okay, but where
Yes.
I get critical of it is for me, I'm like, okay, I hear that and I see that, and I don't know anything about how they made the show, and I'm like, wow, they did things good, and some things didn't really work too well, but like, you know, it's a really good show. They did a good job.
Yeah.
But then the Duffer Brothers keep opening their friggin' mouths and saying like, yeah, we actually almost meant to kill this guy, and yeah, we almost meant to kill that guy, and yeah, we almost, and I'm like, dude, so like, what you're telling me is like those parts that you got right were the things that were planned that you guys stuck to, and then everything else is like you trying to keep the story making sense because you keep changing direction. And for me,
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, okay, so now I see it a little clearer, and I'm like, okay, so you guys have it genuinely in you to like make all of the show like that 10%. But you
Yeah.
just don't have the freaking like, I don't know, like I don't know what it is, just like even the willpower maybe, like to like stick to your guns and stick to your plan.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they were like particularly with, this is my last point, but like particularly with like Hopper and Max and stuff, it was both the same reasons. They're like, oh, we saw the actor and like we thought they were so good and there's so much chemistry, so we decided to like keep them alive. And I'm like, all right, like I get it, but I'm like, dude, like I feel like a lot of the things that are going on with the story that are just kind of like pointless or like careless or just don't really matter, or whatever, are like a result of that.
Yeah, to me, watching it and I like Stranger Things. It's not my favorite show. Okay, it never has been, but I've always quite enjoyed it. This last season, like we said, it's just really long, but I think that a lot of that, and I could be completely off the mark with this, could be completely wrong, but it just feels like it's a two-part kind of reason why certain things in the story panned out the way that they did. It seems like one, the Duffer Brothers have admittedly made like changes to the story, but then one could assume if you're doing that with deaths for a character, then you're doing that with other parts of the story.
Oh, the
So I
deaths
think-
are just
so-
the big thing you're talking
Yeah,
about.
so that's one part of it. The second part that I would offer up is Netflix in real world terms is not doing too well, and Stranger Things is the thing that everyone goes to Netflix for pretty unanimously. Cobra Kai is like another one now because they got Cobra Kai, but you know, these are these handful of shows where Netflix is like, we need people to come to us and watch this. And I bet you that whatever the Duffer Brothers were doing, I don't know how those conversations were going within those rooms, but it just feels like Netflix probably had their say in this, and like the direction where a lot of this went. Like everyone loves a certain character, maybe keep them. Like maybe that's what the Duffer Brothers are getting at, and they were at a place enough to be able to go like, okay, I'm okay with that. Granted, I'm not in the business, currently, so I'm like, I don't know, but that's what I can assume, just kind of based off of what we know. That being said, to your whole point of like, there's things in it that they get so right. The stuff that they got right, like there's parts of that show that I genuinely do love. Where I'm like, okay, that is like, I love that. All right, those characters, all the actors, and we said this throughout the whole season.
All the actors are
all the actors phenomenal. Okay, all of the VFX, honestly, like
they hold up.
They were great. Okay, like
there wasn't really one scene with the VFX where I was like, wow, it was weird.
Like the problems we're talking about, like, and I hope it comes across. And those of you who listen to us, you'll get to know us a little better, and we're learning how to express ourselves so we're understood well with this too. But when we love something, when it's a body of work like that, especially we're in context of like a podcast, we are going to be critical of it in a lighthearted and good sense, because that's what makes things better. And it feels like the Duffer Brothers, they put something great, and they're learning a lot along the way, and I hope that everyone who worked on this gets to work on something cool next and bring that experience over. I don't know what they're going to do with season 5, quite frankly, but my guess is that they're going to bring Boris. They're going to have the whole thing come back. It's basically D&D, and that's the thing, is like all the D&D stuff in this was like the best parts. Okay, like the parts, like the aspect of this is like the Goonies or like the E.T. like kid group, like all of that like camaraderie of like this young group of adolescents, like even like It Chapter 1 kind of thing. I love that. Like those are my favorite parts of Stranger Things. Like the whole, and shout out to Eddie. Like the character was, and again, spoilers, the third time, we're being real nice with this, we're being real generous, but like when he died, like that was, for me, like, I know why they did it, like, I get it. I was like, why'd you kill him? Why'd you kill someone else? Like, because like he was such a cool character, and it felt like the only reason they killed him off was to pass that torch over to Dustin, because like Dustin has been like that guy that's always looked up to someone in order to like take the action of being the leader, but now that he lost Eddie, he needs to be that guy.
Yeah.
And so
like even show that where he like takes he like shows the dad and like gives the dad closure,
or the uncle,
the uncle. Yeah, he gives.
It's almost like Gurren Lagann kind of, where it's like it's like, come on, buddy,
come on, Simone,
drill the sky, drill the heavens,
drill me, bro,
drill me, bro. But like, yeah, dude, it's like that part of things I loved, and like all the Dustin and Eddie scenes were like top notch. Yeah. The Master Puppet scene, I'm sure you guys have all heard.
It's tight.
It holds up.
It was really dope.
It was fantastic. Yeah. I'm a big fan of metal. You'll come to learn that about us both. We both love metal, so it was good to see some representation. Yeah, and quite frankly, that part, dude, where he was Bear's special mentioning, where they're like, "You don't have any like, I don't know, music or something?" He's like, "That's his music." He's like holding up Iron Maiden. Oh man, that was
great.
Lo siento.
Yeah, for me, I'm just like, I think that was another one of the problems I had too. Is it's like, there's just, because they keep saving all these characters, this season felt really messy.
Yeah. Because
there's like so many characters in the cast now, like, and they're not like, it's not like a when you have like a show like, honestly, like even like The Office, where it's like there's the cast, but there's like kind of like there's like tiers and levels to the cast. Like in this show, they try to make every character like a big character in it.
Yeah, and everyone's like in this season, like everyone's in some sort of group that breaks off into subgroups, and they're all in different places.
And they're all intermingling and swapping people into different groups.
It's like, imagine the whole season being like that last hour of Return of the Jedi. It was like frustrating as all heck, dude, because like even at its best, like, and that's like for me where I was like, okay, come on guys, like there's a better way. Like I can see it. If I can see it, there's come on. Like I'm just a viewer.
I wonder if this is like got fucked in the editing room too.
That's the thing with this stuff, is it could be any number of things, and I don't think it got fucked per se. I just think that it could have been like even better, which is I think the important part to know, because like this Stranger Things is dope. Again, like I said, it's not my favorite, but like I rather enjoy it. Like I do enjoy it. and I enjoy my time with it. And there's parts I genuinely do love.
And as I said before too, for me, I'm like, the only reason why I'm being critical about all this stuff is because I'm like, okay, like they've spoken and given me quite a bit to work with. Where I'm like, okay, like you guys had all the pieces on the table. It's pretty clear. Why did you make some of these decisions? Because I'm like, you guys like. There's a certain balance you got to strike when you're writing a story and all this stuff, and it's like they kind of threw a lot of the balances out the window because they're like, well, let's just do this, and it's like, all right, that's fine, but like I understand your show's really popular and like you want to do that stuff. Like for me, I'm like they kept Max, which is fine. All right, you keep Max, but it's like for me, I'm like even in season 4, like dude, she still didn't die. Okay, I'm like, you guys like at least could have like killed her like at the end of the season, and even before that, for me, I'm like that first time where she floated up, I'm like, it would have been such a striking scene, dude, when it goes like black, it's building up like she's gonna be saved. In your head, you're like, dude, she's gonna be fine, and she is in the end, but it's built up like that, and it goes black, and it's like, dude, can you imagine if she died right there? Because then people would be able to like feel the loss of the character. You'd be able to like shorten your cast a bit so you can actually like focus on other parts and not make it feel so drawn out. And that's the thing too, is for me, I'm like, it was so drawn out, and like they even split the season when they released it, and like after finishing it, I'm like, you know, it's not that I'm trying to get anything, I'm just more curious. I'm like, I wonder if they split it because even they knew, like, dude, I don't think people are gonna watch this if it's all in one. Because it's like dude. It is tiring to watch.
It was
dude.
a lot. Like if you guys are
like
listening,
all of it at once,
and if you try to binge it, which is usually generally what happens with me with these Stranger Things seasons,
with a lot of Netflix shows, honestly.
But like, dude, it's
tiring.
It
dude.
can be tiring. We have to take breaks.
Yeah.
You have to take breaks. It's realistic.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, Stranger Things. Watch
it.
it.
Overall, at the end of the day, it is a great show.
Yeah.
You know, it is good. For me, you know, there's a lot of really cool stuff in it. I think it's still like worth watching, but it does have problems, you know, and it does, I think especially from where it started, like it does in a lot of ways over time stray away from what its true potential could have been. And like it shows what its potential could be like from the first season, dude.
Yeah.
And as it goes, it just like, I don't know, it just kind of strays away. And I feel like, and more specifically, I feel like with this season, they kind of really like strayed away. Because I'm like, you guys could have finished this whole thing in this season, dude, and it would have been interesting. Like, now we have a whole other season just to talk about the underworld.
Well, it's
or the
important to
Upside
know
Down.
when all good things should end, you know?
Yeah. All good things must end.
All good things must
end.
And
just like that.
It's been a good podcast.
It's been a good podcast. It's been a good day.
It's been a good day.
It's a little serendipitous.
Yeah, it feels right.
The end of Stranger Things for us, the end of this podcast, and the end of the day.
I think I see the light. Anyway, thank you for joining us for episode 4. We saw a UFO today.
We saw UFOs.
We saw UFOs.
We saw Stranger Things this morning.
Yes, and you can see us on twitch.tv/Swir Media on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to get that right one time without the stutter.
PST.
Psst. Psst. Come join us.
We're doing Pacific Standards.
Yeah, I'm going to get the light going so that way you guys can see this close.
Anyway.
Until next time. You're in front of it, bud.
Am I?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm in front of this.
I'm pretty sure you're in front of this.
I don't know. I was in front of this.
You're in front of this. Wow.
It's funny how that thing for.
It's amazing. You know, you think you know a garage full of.
You think? Apparently we don't know.
Wow.
I think I went over the whole Stranger Things pretty well, too.
Yeah.